continues through picturesque Cotswold scenery. This section was expensive to build through a great deal of rock. Here is Chedworth Station, followed by a tunnel that takes us to a summit of 637 feet above sea level. The ruling gradient either side of the summit is 1 in 75. Downhill now to Withington Station as locals wave farewell to this last train. Participants have paid 25 and sixpence from Birmingham to travel over the Tiddley Dyke, as the line was known. Approaching Andoversford, the line briefly encounters the A40 road before Andoversford Junction, where the MSWJ line joined the Great Western line from Kingham. The junction signalman collects the single line token from Cookham Manor. Andoversford Station opened in 1881, and MSWJ trains began using it from 1904. Eastleigh's U-Class Mogul 31639 arrives from Cheltenham with an MSWJ train for Southampton. Cheltenham was the furthest north southern locomotives regularly worked to at this time. She gets away, signalled for the MSWJ route by Andoversford Junction Box. We will now look at the Cheltenham to Kingham line that ended in Oxfordshire. In its last years, the passenger service was hauled by large prairie tanks of the 4100 class. This is 5182 at Cheltenham St James Station. She will be hauling our train to Malvern Road Station. This was served by long-distance trains from the Midlands to the West Country. Malvern Road Engine Shed was also here. The train now reaches Lansdowne Junction, where the Birmingham to Bristol line comes in on our right. Diverging southeastwards on a 90-degree curve to the first intermediate stopping place at Cheltenham-Leckhampton. Situated in a cutting, the main station buildings are on the upside. On leaving, we pass the goods yard. This is an outlying suburb of Cheltenham at Charlton Kings. The small main station building is seen on the downside, a smaller waiting shelter on the up. An uphill climb at 1 in 62 brought trains to the 12-arch Dowdeswell Viaduct, a major engineering work on the line. It was demolished in 1967. Still climbing, a second engineering work is approached, the 384-yard-long Sandywell Park Tunnel. At just over 7 miles from St James, Andoversford is approached. We see the West End goods yard and the downside platform where the main station buildings were situated. Now viewed from the upside, the junction signals are seen for the MSWJ line south to Swindon. We are signalled eastwards for Kingham. The next 5 miles to Notgrove was on a series of embankments and cuttings, along the 750-foot contour on a single line. It was known as Hampden Bank, climbing to a summit of 800 feet. Notgrove itself was at 780 feet above sea level and was a wooden block post for the single line. It was token working from Andoversford, but electric train staff on to Bourton-on-the-Water. Bourton-on-the-Water was another crossing place. It had a 3 sidings goods yard on the downside. The next station was Stow-on-the-Wold at about 500 feet above sea level as we descend towards Kingham. There were 2 long loop sidings just before the station with just 1 platform face, about a mile from the town it served. The small signal box was used to work the sidings points, plus home and starting signals in each direction. My father filmed one of the last workings at Andoversford returning to Cheltenham from Kingham. train departs Andoversford, notice the traffic-free main A40 road on the right. These scenes, taken earlier in the year, feature the now preserved 4141 on the Kingham surfaces. This is Cheltenham-Leckhampton. We continue the remaining 2.5 miles to Cheltenham-Malvern Road, arriving off the Kingham line past Lansdowne Junction, where the Midland line from Birmingham has its own station, just after the bridge. Malvern Road Station, and a glimpse of the engine shed there. At Malvern Road Junction, the line to Honeybourne and Stratford veers off to the left as we curve right into the GWR terminus at St James. This station was near the centre of the town, closed though in January 1966. 4141 was withdrawn in March 1963 and is now preserved. Cheltenham-Malvern Road also closed on the same day as St James. This is September the 10th, 1961, and 7808 Cookham Manor is on a last-day rail tour over the MSWJ line to Swindon. At Lansdowne Junction in 1959, Jubilee 45610 Gold Coast leaves the Midland Station for Gloucester and Bristol. Four miles south of Cheltenham was Churchdown. Toton's 8F48363 heads coal wagons southwards to Gloucester on the down relief line. Notice the banner repeating signals on the footbridge. She is followed by Gloucester Barnwoods 4F 44045. Heading north to Cheltenham is Cleve Grange on an express freight, with either a pilotman or other driver learning the road on her footplate. She was withdrawn in December 1964. As Cleve Grange was about to be withdrawn, Brush Type 4 D1598 was only just built and is running through Churchdown in her brand